Two neighbors, same age, same income, $72,000 a year. 10 years later, one has $187,000 saved, zero debt, owns his home. The other has $4,200 in savings, $42,000 in debt, and panics every time a bill shows up. Same money, completely different outcome. The difference? One learned 8 rules that Japanese households have followed for centuries. No apps, no crypto, no gimmicks. Just 8 principles so simple they almost seem stupid, and so effective they'll completely change how you see money. My name is Bobby. Stay with me because what you're about to hear is going to reframe everything. Before we get into the rules, I need you to understand something about Japan that most people completely miss. Japan has one of the highest savings rates in the developed world. As of 2023, the Japanese household savings rate sits at approximately 11.1%, according to data from the OECD. The American household savings rate? Around 4.1%. That means Japanese households save at nearly 3 times the rate of American households, on average lower income. The median household income in Japan is roughly $41,000 equivalent. In the United States, it's about $75,000. Americans earn nearly twice as much and save at a third of the rate. Let that sink in. And it's not because Japanese people are smarter. It's not because their cost of living is dramatically lower. Tokyo is one of the most expensive cities on earth. It's because they follow a fundamentally different philosophy about what money is for, what ownership means, and what a good life actually looks like. These ideas are rooted in centuries of Buddhist philosophy, Confucian discipline, and a concept called wabi-sabi, the art of finding beauty in simplicity and imperfection. They were refined through periods of real national poverty, resource scarcity, and economic crisis. They are not theoretical. They were forged in survival, and they work. And not just in Japan, for anyone, anywhere, who is willing to apply them. Here are the 8 rules. The first rule is this: you must know your ikigai, your reason for being, your reason for working. Now, most people in the personal finance world talk about ikigai as a career concept. Find your passion, find your purpose, combine them. Beautiful. But there's a financial dimension to ikigai that almost nobody talks about. Here's what I mean. In Japan, work is not separated from life. It is part of life, which means money earned from work is not a detached, abstract number. It is the physical representation of your time, your energy, your life force. When you understand that deeply, you stop spending carelessly, because spending carelessly means you are throwing away the hours of your life you traded for that money. Think about it this way. You make $25 an hour after taxes. You're standing in a store looking at a $150 jacket. That jacket costs you 6 hours of your life. Oh, not $150. 6 hours. Is the jacket worth 6 hours of your finite existence? Most Americans never ask that question. Most Japanese households ask it automatically. It's not a budgeting tactic. It's a philosophy. Money is time. Time is life. Therefore, money is life, and you do not waste your life. The financial application is this: before any significant purchase, ask yourself not, can I afford this? But is this worth the hours of my life I'm trading for it? That single question, applied consistently, will do more for your financial stability than any budgeting app ever will. A 2022 study from the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that people who mentally converted prices to time spent working reduced discretionary spending by an average of 19% within 90 days, without any other intervention. No budget, no spreadsheet, just awareness. Rule number 2 is kakebo, and this one is so simple it's almost embarrassing, but the data behind it is undeniable. Kakebo, pronounced kakebo, literally translates to household financial ledger. It's a method of budgeting that dates back to 1904, when a Japanese journalist named Hani Motoko published it in a women's magazine as a tool for housewives to take control of household finances. Here's how it works. At the start of every month, you write down by hand on paper 4 things: how much money you have coming in, how much you need to spend on fixed essentials, how much you want to save, and how much is left over for everything else. Then every week you record every single thing you spent money on in 4 categories: survival, food, rent, utilities; optional, entertainment, dining out, hobbies; culture, books, education, experiences; and extra, unexpected expenses, gifts, emergencies. At the end of each month, you reflect on 4 questions. How much did I have? How much did I spend? How much did I save? And this is the important one: how can I improve? That's it. Hi, no app, no algorithm, no automatic transfers, just a notebook and a pen. And here's what nobody tells you about writing things down. It works. A study published in the American Psychological Association Journal found that the physical act of writing financial information by hand increases financial awareness and reduces impulse spending significantly more than digital tracking. Because when you type something into an app, it disappears into a screen. When you write it in your own handwriting, now in your own notebook, it stays with you. The average American has no idea what they spent last month, not even approximately. They couldn't tell you within $500. Kakebo users know their numbers to the dollar, and you can't manage what you don't measure. Start this month. Get a notebook, any notebook. Spend 10 minutes on the first day. Spend 5 minutes every Sunday. That's it. The people who follow this rule consistently report saving 10% to 35% more money within 3 months, not because they suddenly earn more, because they finally see see where their money is actually going. Rule 3 is hara hachibu. You may have heard this in the context of eating. It's the Okinawan practice of stopping eating when you are 80% full. The people of Okinawa are among the longest-lived humans on Earth, and this principle is a major reason why. But here's what I want you to understand. The Japanese apply this same philosophy to consumption in general, to spending, to owning. You stop at 80%. You leave 20% on the table, always. In financial terms, this means you never max out your income. You never stretch to the top of what you can technically afford. You always leave margin. The American system tells you to maximize your purchasing power. Buy the most house you can qualify for. Get approved for the biggest loan available. Use the full limit on your credit card. You've earned it. You deserve it. Japan's philosophy says the opposite. And the fact that you can afford 100% does not mean you should spend 100%. The gap between what you can spend and what you do spend is where your security lives. Let's make this concrete. If your take-home income is $5,500 per month, Hara Hachibu says your lifestyle should cost $4,400. The other $1,100 is untouchable. It goes to savings, to investments, to an emergency fund. Not because you're depriving yourself, because that 20% margin is what protects you when life happens. According to a 2023 Federal Reserve survey, 37% of Americans said they would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense. $400, that's a car repair. That's one medical copay. That's one broken appliance. 37% of Americans are one $400 problem away from financial crisis because they've been living at 100% of their income with zero margin. Hara Hachibu says never live at 100%, ever. The 20% you leave unspent isn't sacrifice, it's armor. Rule 4 is danshari, and this one goes much deeper than Marie Kondo telling you to fold your socks. Danshari is a philosophy of radical elimination. The word itself is a combination of three concepts: dan, refuse; sha, dispose; re, separate. Refuse what you don't need. Dispose of what you don't use. Separate yourself from attachment to objects. But here's the financial truth hiding inside danshari that nobody talks about. Every object you own has a cost beyond its purchase price. It costs you space, costs you maintenance, it costs you mental energy to manage, clean, organize, and eventually dispose of. And here's the big one. It costs you the money you'll spend replacing it, upgrading it, or buying accessories for it. The average American household has 300,000 items in it, according to a UCLA study. 300,000 items. And research from the National Association of Professional Organizers found that 80% of what we keep, we never use. Americans spend $1.2 trillion annually on non-essential goods. $1.2 trillion. Danshari practitioners don't just declutter. They restructure their relationship with ownership entirely. They stop buying things they don't need. They stop accumulating. They stop letting marketers convince them that the next purchase will make them happy. And here's what actually happens when you apply danshari to your finances. Your spending drops, not through willpower, but through preference. You genuinely stop wanting things you don't need. You start valuing experiences, relationships, and freedom over objects. And the money you were spending on stuff that brought you no lasting joy gets redirected towards security that brings you lasting peace. The financial application is simple. Every month, identify one subscription, one habit, or one category of spending that is not adding real value to your life. Eliminate it, not temporarily, permanently. Do this every month for a year. Or after 12 months, you've systematically removed 12 money leaks from your financial life. The average person who does this consistently frees up between $400 and $900 per month. Not through sacrifice, through clarity. Rule 5 is choken bako, literally translated savings box. In Japan, the physical piggy bank, the choken bako, is a cultural institution. Children receive them as gifts. Adults keep them on their desks. They are everywhere. But the philosophy behind them is far more powerful than a ceramic pig on a shelf. The principle is this: savings happen first. Before you pay any bill, before you buy any groceries, before you do anything else with your money, you put something away. Always. Even if it's $5, even if it's $20, the amount is almost irrelevant. The habit is everything. Americans have been taught a different version of this. The version where you spend everything you need to spend, handle all your obligations, enjoy your lifestyle. And then, if anything is left, you save it. And here's why that doesn't work. There is never anything left. Lifestyle expands to fill available income. If saving is optional, saving doesn't happen. The Japanese version inverts the entire model. You save first. You live on what's left. This is not a new idea. It's the cornerstone of every serious personal finance philosophy, from David Bach's Automatic Millionaire to George Clayson's Richest Man in Babylon. But Japan has been practicing it culturally, instinctively, generationally for centuries. Here's what the data says. A 2021 study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that households who automated savings contribution, who paid themselves first before any discretionary spending, accumulated on average 2.5 times more wealth over 10 years than households who saved whatever was left at the end of the month. Same income, same time time period. 2.5 times more wealth on 2.5 times because they change the order of operation. The application. Starting today, set up an automatic transfer for the day after your paycheck hits. Even $100, even $50. The Chokinbeko doesn't care how much you put in. It only cares that you put something in. First, every time, without negotiation. Rule 6 is Motenai, and this one is going to challenge some deeply American assumptions about what it means to be successful. Motenai is an ancient Japanese concept with no direct English equivalent. It expresses a sense of regret over waste, a grief for the potential of an object that goes unrealized. In Japan, you don't throw things away casually. You repair them. You repurpose them. You use them completely before you discard them. In a culture of Motenai, food is not wasted. Clothing is repaired, not replaced. Products are chosen for longevity, not trend. And the $300 pair of shoes that lasts 10 years is understood to be dramatically cheaper than the $80 pair that falls apart in 18 months and gets replaced 4 times. The financial principle buried inside Motenai is this. The most expensive thing you own is the thing you have to keep replacing. Americans have been systematically trained to buy cheap and replace often. The fast fashion industry counts on it. The consumer electronics industry counts on it. The car industry counts on it. Buy the entry-level model. It breaks. You upgrade. You replace. You buy the new version. The cycle never ends, and you spend far more over a lifetime than someone who simply bought quality once and maintained it. A 2022 consumer analysis from Deloitte found that Americans who prioritize quality and longevity in purchases spend 23% less over a 10-year period than those who optimize for lowest initial price, 23% less, on the same categories, just by buying better things and maintaining them instead of replacing them constantly. Motenai in practice means asking 2 questions before every purchase. Is this the best quality I can reasonably afford? The version I won't need to replace in 2 years? And do I already own something that does this job? If the answer to the second question is yes, you don't buy it. What you already own is repaired, maintained, and used fully. This single rule, applied to clothing, electronics, appliances, and vehicles, saves the average household thousands of dollars per year. Rule 7 is Ma, and this is the one that the American financial system is most aggressively designed to destroy. Ma is the Japanese concept of negative space, of emptiness, of pause. In Japanese art, architecture, and music, the empty spaces are considered just as important as the filled one. The silence between notes is what gives music its power. The open space in a room is what makes it breathable. The pause in a conversation is where meaning lives. Applied to personal finance, Ma means this. You must have empty space in your budget, unallocated money, uncommitted income, breathing room. And here's why this is radical in America. The American financial system wants every dollar allocated, every dollar working, every dollar committed to a payment, a subscription, an obligation. The credit card wants your spending. The car dealer wants your payment. The bank wants your mortgage commit. The subscription service wants your recurring charge. They all want to colonize your budget completely, to leave no Ma, no empty space, because empty space is where your power lives. When you have unallocated money, you have options. When life throws something unexpected at you, and it will, you can absorb it without panic. You can make decisions from a position of calm instead of desperation. The Japanese have a saying, Nana korabi ya oki. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. Financial Ma is what makes that possible. You can get knocked down, job loss, medical emergency, economic crisis, and still stand back up because you built empty space into your financial life instead of filling every inch with obligation. The practical application of Ma is this. You need 3 distinct layers of empty space. A monthly buffer, at least $300 to $500 of uncommitted money in your checking account at all times. No, an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses in a savings account that you do not touch, and an income buffer. You should never be spending 100% of your current income because income changes. The moment you fill every dollar with a commitment, you become fragile. One income disruption, one unexpected expense, and the entire structure collapses. Ma is the white space that keeps the structure standing. Rule 8 is Kaizen, and if you've heard of this one before, I promise you haven't heard it applied the way I'm about to apply it. Kaizen means continuous improvement, small, consistent, incremental progress toward a better state. It was the philosophy behind Japan's post-World War II economic miracle. Companies like Toyota used it to transform manufacturing, but its application to personal finance is where it becomes truly life-changing. Here's the problem with most personal finance advice. It asks you to make dramatic changes all at once. Overhaul your budget overnight, cut everything, save aggressively, eliminate all debt immediately, and for about 72 hours, people do it. Then life happens. The plan collapses. They feel like failures. They go back to their old ways. Kaizen says the opposite. Don't try to change everything at once. Change one thing by 1% this week. Just 1%. What does 1% look like in financial terms? This week, you pack your lunch 1 extra day. Next week, you cancel 1 subscription you forgot you had. Now, the week after that, you move $25 more into saving. The week after that, you spend 15 minutes reviewing your phone bill and negotiate it down. None of these feel significant. None of them are significant alone. But Kaizen understands something that dramatic overhauls miss entirely. Compounding works on habits exactly exactly the same way it works on money. A 1% improvement every week for a year is not a 52% improvement. Because of compounding, it's actually a 67% improvement. You are not the same person you were a year ago when you apply Kaizen. You are fundamentally, structurally different. Your habits are different. Your awareness is different. Your relationship with money is different. And here's the thing nobody tells you. The people who quietly become wealthy, not overnight success wealthy, but real, durable, multi-generational wealthy, almost never made one dramatic change. They made small, consistent improvements over long periods of time. They were boring in the best possible way. Kaizen is boring, and boring is how you win. Let me bring it back to our two neighbors. The one with $187,000 saved didn't have a secret income source. He didn't win anything. He didn't get an inheritance. He wasn't born into wealth. He just applied 8 ideas that Japanese households have used for centuries. He knew why he worked. He wrote down what he spent. He never lived at the edge of his income. He eliminated what he didn't need. And he paid himself first. He wasted nothing. He kept empty space in his budget. And he made small, consistent improvements every single week without quitting. None of those things are impressive in isolation. All of them together, applied consistently over years, are absolutely transformative. The American financial system wants you to believe that wealth is complicated, that it requires sophisticated strategies, financial advisors, the right portfolio, the right timing, the right market condition. It doesn't. It requires philosophy, discipline, patience, and the willingness to be different from the people around you. Here's what really gets me. These 8 rules don't require a high income. They don't require a perfect credit score. They don't require any particular advantage. They just require a decision made today, right now, to stop playing by the rules that are making someone else rich and start playing by the rules that will make you free. That decision is yours to make. If this opened your eyes to something today, give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find this content. And if you know someone who's stuck in the financial treadmill, share this with them because sometimes one conversation changes everything. I'll see you in the next one.